Welcome back to another episode of the Draw Control podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by sophomore defender Mackenzie Hanlon. Last year with Colorado, Mackenzie had 3 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers, and an assist. And before college, Mackenzie won the Pac-12 Citizenship Award, graduated honor roll with an 8 average all 4 years of high school, and ranked number 3 in the country in the top defenders list in the class of 2022 by Shake School Lacrosse. Mackenzie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And how's everything going?
It's good. It's been a great day in Boulder. Some snow on the ground, but the sun makes up for it definitely. And I'm super pumped to be on here. And thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you on as well. You're the first ever Buffalo to be on the podcast. So
Oh, that's
I feel like it's a
awesome.
good start to have you
Yeah.
on. Well, how has your fall semester been going for you, both on and off the field? It seems like Boulder is the spot to be this fall.
Yeah, I mean, Boulder has been awesome. I think there's so much going on and so much attention towards us that it's like created such like a great atmosphere and a really fun fall for everyone. Academic wise is going great. I'm in communications, specifically a media studies major. Last year, if you asked me how fall was going, school wise, I probably would have said not great. I was in the business school and Leeds is an awesome program. It just like wasn't for me. So I think for me personally, it's been a lot better switching that over. And I think knowing that it's okay to switch majors and, figure out what you want to do. And then lacrosse wise, I mean, it's been so fun. You get to play the sport you love with your best friends every day. So can't really complain much.
Yeah, the whole point of college is just trying to find yourself to set you
Yeah,
up for the future. So there's no
totally.
shame in switching majors. I feel like a lot more people do it than not do it.
Oh,
So
yeah, for sure. I've had even my roommates have also switched. I think people like need to know going into college that it's not a bad thing to switch at all. You're just testing it out, seeing what you like. And I think for me, kind of knowing that that's not what I wanted to do and making that decision was definitely hard, but it's one of the best decisions I've like made regarding school. So yeah.
that's awesome. And I'm a communications major as well. So I'm
Oh,
happy to
awesome.
have you
Yeah.
a part of the major, I guess, family, I guess, even though we go
Yeah.
to different schools. But um, now getting to some lacrosse stuff, what
Mhm.
was your off season like this past summer? And what were some of the things that you did to prepare for this upcoming season in February?
I think off season for me, just working on the little things. I think the little things obviously translate into the bigger things during the game. And I think once you kind of capitalize on the little things and you're disciplined doing them, it becomes so much easier and so does the game. Um, I work out with my dad a lot. It's hard, I think, defensive wise to do some of the drills because you're not shooting, doing or like practicing the draw. So I think having my dad out there, he'd like be an attacker and he would dodge and we'd do different footwork drills or running drills. And I think kind of utilizing the people I had was something that I think really helped me. And then for me, just working on the little things like footwork, running, kind of working on my running form, and then also stick work was huge for me. I think defenders, you definitely need to have great stick work, especially clearing the ball. And that was something I always struggled in. So I think for me, kind of just working on my stick work and the little things.
What are some drills you do to help your stick work improve?
So actually at my house, we have like a concrete wall that kind of sticks out. So obviously doing wall ball, it's something so easy. It takes 20 to 30 minutes out of your day. And I think doing it every day is so much improvement throughout the summer. And I think also I have a little brother, being able to pass with him, not using the wall where it's kind of like a perfect pass usually every time. So kind of working with him too, or my dad, just friends, having a pass, it makes the biggest difference.
Is your brother a lacrosse player as well?
Yeah, he is. He's a lacrosse player too, runs in the family.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Is he going through the recruiting process now, I assume?
No, so he doesn't want to play in college. He kind of, played a lot of sports growing up. He wrestled, he golfed, kind of did a lot. So I think for him, it was just something he did with his friends or wanted to do. So he doesn't want to play in college, but he's a senior. So he's kind of trying to figure out where he wants to go. So
Well,
yeah.
hopefully, he can still help you train
Oh
for the
yeah,
next two
definitely he
years.
can.
So,
Yeah.
I would definitely love to play college golf. I feel like that'll be a lot of fun. I feel like no one
Yeah.
talks about it, but that's like probably the best sport to play in college.
Totally. Um, I used to play golf in high school. I played for 1 year and it's definitely a difficult sport. I think people underestimate it a little bit. You don't realize how difficult it is till you're out there by yourself going to tee off. But I think, my brother's great at it and I think he'd love to play club at maybe a college he went to. But yeah, it's a great sport. I love it. My whole family kind of plays. We also belong to like a country club, so it's nice to get out there and golf sometimes. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on my short game a little bit, but I can
Yeah.
definitely drive the ball well, which I feel like helps me out a little bit from
Oh,
time to
def
time.
for sure. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're a sophomore this year, so what's your mindset heading into this season? And do you think it's a little bit different than last year as a freshman? I feel like it's probably a lot easier this year because you're a little bit more comfortable and you know how things work versus last year when it was all sort of brand new to yourself.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I notice a lot like of my confidence is different. Last year I think I was very timid and, not scared, but it was just a lot of unknown, going into your first college game, it's scary and you don't know what's going to happen. But I think this year I have a lot more confidence. And I think working on your confidence helped me so much. And just like knowing that your teammates want the best for you and know that you're capable of so much has helped me like gain my confidence. So I would say this year, my mindset regarding myself would just be like knowing I have that confidence and knowing I'm capable of so much is a lot different. And I think, freshman year is hard. You're getting used to college athletics, and that's not always easy because it's a completely different pace, a completely different game. But I think kind of knowing now how it goes a little bit, helps my confidence so much. That's like one thing I think is a lot different than last year.
How do you work on your confidence? Because I feel like in sports, especially, if you're a confident player, you play much better just because you have that swagger a little bit. I guess is the best way I can articulate that. But when
Yeah.
you are low on confidence, it definitely affects you on the field. I feel like you see that a lot with quarterbacks in the NFL, but you also see it in lacrosse as well. So I'm curious how you sort of work on that part of your game since it's very mental and not something
Yeah.
like you can work with like drills and stuff.
No, for sure. I think being able to address myself and know that mistakes are going to happen. And I think that the game will never be perfect. You're never going to have a perfect lacrosse game or a perfect game in general. And I think knowing that and being able to know what I'm capable of, I think I worked on a lot that mistakes are completely normal and everyone makes them. I think one thing was like I'm very hard on myself. And I think freshman year, I was very hard on myself, like too hard at some points. So, like, for me, I kind of worked on laying off myself a little bit and not being so hard when I drop a pass or miss a ground ball. I think those are things that are going to happen and we're human, we make mistakes. And I think just it's how I bounce back from that mistake and how I bounce back. So, yeah, I would say that just kind of like knowing and not being as hard on myself as I was. I don't think it's a bad thing to be hard on yourself, but I think being too hard on yourself is never a good thing.
What's fall ball been like for your team, and what'd you take away from some of the games that you played, and how have the new players looked? Because you guys did
Um,
get some new transfers and freshmen on the team. It
yeah,
seemed like a good chunk of the team is freshmen, which is
yeah.
probably a little bit for you at least. It's probably a bit of a transition trying to learn to play with those players.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, fall ball has been great and it helped us grow as a team kind of on and off the field. I think a big takeaway from those games is going in with a positive mindset. It was nice we got to travel up to Northwestern, play the Natty Champs, and I think everyone's kind of like, oh, we're gonna play national champions. And I think having a positive mindset, knowing that we are capable of so much too, has been something that like we took away as a team and like knowing that hard work will get it done. Um, I think that's one of the bigger things that we took away was just having that positive mindset and knowing we're capable of so much, like individually and also as a team. The new players are doing great. I mean, they've really done a fantastic job of like adapting from that like transition to high school to lacrosse or high school to college. I know it's never easy. I mean, everyone goes through freshman year and it's definitely different. I think they've done a great job and kind of like not being afraid of the unknown and like embracing that and, kind of joining this new team that they have never played on before. So I think they're doing a great job. And it's so nice just to get to like learn so much about them and how they play. It's been a lot of fun.
What are your team's goals and expectations for February when the season begins?
I think one thing for us is definitely to start out strong. I think that always helps the team. Last year, we started off 0-4, and I think that definitely hurt us a little bit. But again, we bounced back and showed that we can do great things. I think it was just we dug ourselves kind of like in that deep hole pretty early on, and that's hard to do. So I think starting off pretty strong and then obviously winning the Pac-12 championship and then making it to the NCAA tournament would be kind of like our end goals. I think they're anyone's goals really, but definitely to make it to the tournament this year.
Is there anything individually you want to see yourself accomplish next year?
I think for me, it'd be kind of like the leadership skills. Freshman year I was pretty quiet, I would say, just being like a freshman. And I think it's so important to like know that everyone has a leadership role. You could be setting the example, but not like communicating as much. I think everyone has a leadership role. And I think figuring out what mine is, embracing mine to help like hold my teammates accountable, and then also be that part of the team that everyone needs, and being a person that someone can come talk to when they might not know what's going on and I can help them. And I just think embracing my role as a leader and also being able to help people when they need it.
Now let's transition and talk about the beginning of your career and sort of work all
Oh,
the way
yeah.
up to where you are today. So, from the research I did, it says that you're from Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So what's it like growing up there, and how'd you start playing lacrosse?
I grew up in a great town. I mean, definitely a tight-knit town. I have best friends, still talk to this day. And I think I grew up in an area where lacrosse was super popular and we had pretty good competition. I started around first grade, I think, and then I didn't start playing club until I was in middle school. Um, but yeah, I was always surrounded by lacrosse, pretty young. Yeah, it's been great. I would say that there's definitely great competition out there. And it's nice because you can travel to places like Maryland, New York, where it's even better out there. It's just a car ride away. So that has definitely helped for sure.
And growing up, like, who was your favorite lacrosse player or team that you like to watch the most? I'm assuming it's got to be someone in the Philly area.
Yeah, so for me, it'd be Alex Aust and Maryland lacrosse. When I was younger, Maryland was like the team, and you'd always watch them. And I like strive to be like those girls, and to be able to say that I'm playing college lacrosse now is like a dream. Yeah, so it was actually pretty cool. I've gotten to do like two Zooms with Alex Aust and just kind of hear her experience and how she kind of went through college and the advice she would give younger players. I got to do that through my club team, but yeah, she is definitely someone that has always inspired me lacrosse wise. And also she's just a great human being.
Now, one fun thing I found out about yourself that I would like to mention is I was reading your bio, and it says that your great grandfather, Ned Hanlon, played baseball and then managed the Baltimore Orioles in the
Yeah.
early 20th century before getting inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1996.
Mhm.
I know you probably never met him before, but
Yeah,
I
I
just want
know.
to know if you knew anyone in your family that has met him before, and how big of a baseball fan you are, and just how cool to have that sort of in your family. I thought that was pretty cool, and I had to mention that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a pretty cool fun fact, I would say. So no one in my family that I know of has met him. And when he was inducted, he sadly had passed away. But it was cool because both my parents got to go to the induction ceremony, and they said there were so many family members there. They were like it was the one of the biggest turnouts just because he had passed away. So it was kind of like a family reunion, and they said it was definitely awesome to see. But it's funny, I'm not the biggest baseball fan, obviously. Cheer for the Phillies, love them. But growing up, having a brother, he did play baseball for a little bit, but it got to the point where you're choosing between baseball and lacrosse. And then my cousins also kind of chose lacrosse too. So we'd always been like a lacrosse family, but I do love baseball, love the Phillies, and just I don't really particularly watch it that much, but it is definitely pretty cool.
Feel like you gotta be an Orioles fan though, based on the
I
family
know
lineage.
yeah, I am, but gotta cheer for the Phillies too.
Well, luckily, it's an AL NL team, so they don't play each other too much, so you don't have to worry
Right.
about that. But
Yeah.
if they
Oh,
ever face each other in the World Series, which is possible because both teams are pretty good, yeah, I feel like that'll be interesting for your
yeah.
family's perspective.
We're gonna have to like wear a shirt with both teams on it or something.
No, you gotta pick one. I don't
I
like
know,
those
I
half
know.
jerseys. I don't think that works unless like your parent, unless both your kids are on both teams. That's the only acceptable reason to
Okay,
do
yeah.
that.
Gonna
Now,
have to
let's
pick.
get back to some lacrosse stuff now. So before college, you played for your high school team, and hopefully I pronounced this name right, Perkman Valley.
Yeah, Perkiomen Valley, yeah.
So sorry about that, but just
No,
talk
no,
about your
you're
high
fine.
school lacrosse experience and sort of what you took away from that time in your life, and like what's like the best memory you have from your high school lacrosse days.
Yeah, I think high school, it's obviously different for everyone. And for me, it was kind of a struggle. I think first COVID, that was hard. There was a time when we're warming up for a game, my coach comes over and she's like, you can't be here, you got contact traced. And I remember I was sobbing. It's just really hard because like it's the one season of sport you love and you can't do it. And I obviously had get everything like having to not be able to play, not be able to be there. It's just super hard. And I think I had my coach leave junior year, so I had a new head coach senior year, and um I just went through I think like a lot of struggles because it was kind of like we didn't have that many players, so I would play attack and I'm a defender, so I didn't really know that much. And I obviously was cool with playing with that whatever position, but I think it was just hard on me mentally because I was like, I'm not doing that great. I would take the draw sometimes, and I think for me personally, I just struggled and like kind of knowing where I was. And I think high school rules are definitely a lot different than college rules regarding like defense and how much you can pressure out and this and that. So I think I like struggled too because I'm, very aggressive player, not in like a bad way, but just kind of have like that, like grit and grind. And it was a little bit hard just like not playing my position and kind of trying to do different things my senior year. And yeah, but I think it has taught me a lot about myself, that I'm capable of more than I think sometimes. And that it's awesome that I'm able to even play any position. And, I think I was one of the ones, trusted to play attack when we didn't have that many attack players. And I think I really embraced that role. I would say one of my favorite memories from high school is kind of watching my friends grow into great lacrosse players, even if they didn't go on to play in college. I think just watching them grow as athletes, these were the people that were my best friends throughout elementary school, and I got to play a sport with them. And I think just watching them grow, and it was just such a good time to be with your best friends playing lacrosse. So yeah, I mean, I think just going to practice every day, you take the little things for granted, going to practice. And now it's like you miss just going to practice with someone, one of your best friends since elementary school. The games were always so fun. So I would just say kind of being with the team.
You think that versatility has helped you in college? Because I know you mentioned that was something that you struggled with in high school, but
Mhm.
have you looked at it now as sort of a positive thing? Because now you can play defense, attack, midfield. Like, I feel like that helps in college because I think a lot of players are versatile. Like, I think a really good attacker in college lacrosse could also be a good defender just because, they know how to play those different positions and just the talent level is there, especially in Division 1. I'm just curious if you look at it that way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I definitely look at it as a positive in my life now. Not that I ever looked at it as a negative. I think I was just, again, super hard on myself and expected so much when I was still kind of like getting used to playing attack. I think, now in college defense, there's different positions, different ways you play. And I think that's made me a better player defensive wise, knowing that I can kind of do anything. I just got to work hard with everything. And, yeah, I think it has definitely been a positive all my life and I wouldn't change it. I think going through kind of like that hard time and struggles definitely makes you a better player at the end of the day.
Now, you also played club lacrosse for Triple H. How did
Mhm.
that experience you think help prepare you for college?
Triple H was a great experience. I mean, I can't thank all of that the coaching staff enough. I think, I wouldn't be here without them. It was the best of the best. You played with all of these amazing lacrosse players from all over. And it was such a fun experience. I think at times it was definitely super hard and I was challenged to I areas I didn't even know I could be that challenged in. But I think it has made me who I am today. It has made me like a better person. We would travel all over to play the best teams too. That was like another thing was I was playing with the best and kind of growing as like my growing my skills, but also being able to play against other teams and being surrounded with great athletes. It was so cool on like September 1st, kind of seeing where everyone heard from and they all went to amazing schools. Actually, my best friend here at Colorado, we played for Triple H together. So I met her. So it's just kind of great friendships came out of it, but also like Colorado came out of it too. And I really can't thank them enough for that experience. It was a great time at Triple H.
Let's talk about that. What was your recruiting process like with Colorado, and what made you want to go there versus other schools you might have looked at?
I think, it was hard because again, it was COVID, so you couldn't really you could visit the school on your own and stuff like that. But I mean, I stepped on campus and I was like, this is the place. I mean, you can't beat it. It's a great school, great, beautiful campus. And I got to do a Zoom with some of the college girls on the team and they were awesome. You could tell they were all best friends. They had great personalities. They had fun. The culture was good. And I think that was super important for me was because I was going so far. And I think I always knew I wanted to go far from like freshman year up. I was like, Mom, I want to go far. I want to, go somewhere different that not a lot of people from my high school go to. So I think having that family culture was super important to me, knowing that I won't be as close to mine. So that was one thing that I looked out for, and like one thing that Colorado immediately had. And I can say that is definitely true. I mean, these girls are my family. I was away from them for a week for Thanksgiving and I could not wait to come back here. So that was definitely something, was the culture was important to me.
What was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse? I guess we sort of talked about it a little bit with
Mhm.
sort of the confidence and just sort of adjusting to being a student athlete with school and lacrosse, because I feel like it's a lot different than high school. But was there anything like playing wise that you thought was a big adjustment, like the speed of the game, sort of making quicker decisions, or just sort of that one-on-one defense that you have to do as a defender?
I mean, I think there's a lot of different elements that go into it. One that came to mind, and I kind of knew without like before I came here, would be the pace of the game. I mean, you can tell on TV the way they move, it's so quick. They make super quick decisions. And I think for me, that was one thing I noticed, was how much quicker the game was. But I think also, everyone's kind of like the best of the best. So like the attackers, the one-on-one was definitely a lot different. And learning how to like make that contact and adjust was super important to me. And then I think just kind of the styles, in high school, it's not like we had many plays or we would switch into different defenses. It was kind of like we played a man most of the game. We would maybe here and there try a zone. But I mean, here it's a lot different where you have set kind of defensive things you're going to do and you know exactly what's going on. So I would say I feel like high school was like a little more, you just did a man, you had like two plays, pretty simple. And here it's definitely more complex.
Now, talk about playing in the Pac-12 and just the competition you face each game.
I mean, I love playing in the Pac-12. I think there's amazing competition, USC, Stanford, and I think they're also great teams. And it's awesome that we get to have that competition, because there's some conferences where the competition is very different. But I think being able to play these great teams has helped us grow, and there is good competition for sure. So yeah, it's been fun.
And obviously, you guys are going to the Big 12 next year. How excited are you for that realignment? And what's your thoughts on just the whole realignment thing in college athletics in general, especially since your travel next year is going to be a lot more longer than it
Yeah.
is this year? And does the Big 12 plan on adding, lacrosse when you guys officially join the conference? I thought I saw something, but I thought I would ask you about that because you would know more than me.
Yeah, so I think it was 2 weeks ago, right before I came home for Thanksgiving break, we had joined, which is super cool. And they are adding lacrosse. And I think it's awesome how much it's growing, going to a different conference. I think the Big 12 will be good for us. It'll definitely be some longer travel days. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to face great competition. And I think it also just helps grow the game. Adding it to the Big 12 will help grow, and hopefully maybe more teams will start to get women's lacrosse programs, and also other teams will hopefully start joining. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think, the Pac-12 has been great, but I think new things are good too. And I think this will be really great for our program.
So right now it's just Cincinnati, you guys, in Arizona State. If am I
Yeah.
missing another team, or is that the three right now?
No, that's the three right now. They're waiting to see who else would join, but yeah, it's just us three for now. But I think it's still, we'll play a lot of out of conference games too. But yeah, that's just the three right now.
So let's talk about your performance from your team last season. Obviously, your last year, your team made it all the way to the Pac-12 championship game before losing to USC.
Mhm.
What'd you take away from your team's performance your freshman year that you think is going to help, that you think you can build off for this upcoming year? Because you guys want to say that you're the last ever
Yeah,
Pac-12 champions. So
that'd be awesome. That's the goal. I think that game was really hard, it's sad because you make it all the way there. And I think performance wise, we definitely did not do our best, but we like put it all out there. And I think that's the most important part. We worked our butts off, and that's all we could ask for at the end of the day. And everyone wanted it. And I think that's one thing, is just having that kind of hard work and heart, and taking that into every game is so important, no matter the outcome, because I think it wasn't the outcome we wanted at the end of the day, but we worked as hard as we could and everyone wanted it so bad. And I think that's important. And also we were pushing ourselves, and I think, it's not the end result, but it has made us better as lacrosse players and people, just kind of dealing with that. So I think kind of taking away that kind of like hustle and kind of grit, that we can, we are capable of winning that game. We were fully capable of winning it. just came out a little short. And I think just knowing that as a team that we were capable of winning.
And what would you say is the biggest improvement you made to your game since you started college on the field?
I would say for me, it'd be my sick work. I think, in high school, that wasn't really a big factor that we kind of focused on. It was more just like simpler or more basic things, I would say, kind of like shooting. So I think for me, I really wanted to focus on my stick work, and that is something I've noticed a tremendous improvement on for me. And your stick work can definitely always get better, and it's something you'll always need lacrosse wise. So for me, I noticed that a lot better.
All right, let's transition now to a segment I like to call 5 questions that have nothing to do with sports. And the goal of the segment is to hopefully get to know you a little bit more off the field. Now, this is not part of the script, but I have to ask this since you're from Colorado. When will Deion Sanders be at a women's lacrosse game?
He was at one last year.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he was at our indoor one, but hopefully he comes to one where we're outside. And yeah, I forget. I think it was our scrimmage against Northwestern he was at. So like the first ever kind of game we had, but hopefully he can come out to an actual game. Um, I think inside's definitely like a little different. It's not kind of the outside atmosphere you get where it's, the big screen and everything like that. It definitely makes a difference. So hopefully he comes out to one. We're gonna hope he does.
Have you met him before?
Yeah, I have. So it's nice. I've met him at Champs. It's like our athletic dining hall. He's always in there and he'll always say hi. So it's nice. Everyone always asks, they're like, "Did you meet him?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I feel like
Yeah.
is he like what he is on TV?
Totally. I mean, he's nicest person ever. He walks in, he's saying hi to everyone, asking how your day was. Like he genuinely cares about all the athletes at CU, and I think that's super important in a coach. And you can tell he genuinely wants to know how you're doing. And yeah, he's a great guy.
That's good. That's good. I think
Yeah,
I like his sort of I guess motivation with the players and stuff. Like
totally.
I feel like it's definitely I know this year it sort of started off strong and then ended like kind of flames out, but I still think he's going to do the right thing. I feel like in the next few years he'll be you guys will be a contender in the Big 12.
Yeah, and I think one thing, it was pretty hard on the football team, at the end of the season because we weren't doing as great. But at the end of the day, there were improvements that were made. They got a lot better. And I think that's something to notice. They're not going to be some amazing team all of a sudden. And they definitely have changes to make, but I think they've done a great job and that's important to notice. And I think he's noticed as a coach too, which is like really important.
My favorite clip of him was when I'm a huge Pats fan, so when he went on Tom Brady's podcast
Oh
and
yeah.
his son was like got the
Yeah.
Rolls Royce and he's like, "You need to get your ass back in the film room." And then Dion's like, "Thank you." That I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah,
So,
he's definitely funny, that's for sure.
all right, now let's get to the non-lacrosse question. So, if there was
Okay.
a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
It's a good question. I'm not sure, I probably would say so my favorite movie is The Hunger Games, and I love Jennifer Lawrence, so I'd probably say her. I think she's super funny and outgoing and just like a good person. So I feel like I'd say her.
Yeah,
Kind
I'd
of
say
random, but
yeah, I'd say Ryan Reynolds for me, just because I know we don't look anything alike, but I just want to brag to people that he played me in a movie. So I
right?
feel like
Yeah.
that's who I would go with.
No, totally. Bragging rights.
Now it's the holiday season when this episode's getting released. So what's the most underrated holiday and what's the most overrated holiday in your opinion?
Okay. Underrated for sure would be St. Patrick's Day. Um, I love St. Patrick's Day. I think it's awesome. I think it's a little underrated. Um, Overrated, definitely Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
I don't see why it's like such a great holiday. I mean, I think it's fun and cute, but I would say it's a little overrated.
Yeah, I always felt like girls would like it more just because it's sort of for you guys, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess it is. I just think like it's not something like you're going out to celebrate. I don't know, like St. Patrick's Day. I think it's so fun to go out and celebrate with family. My grandma, she owns a little Irish shop right in our town. So we always go out and celebrate, and it's really important to my family. We love St. Patrick's Day. So I feel like that's why it's underrated. But yeah, we don't really celebrate Valentine's Day.
What's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Probably that Jason Kelsey has been nominated for the Sexiest Man Alive. He's a finalist. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan, so it's pretty cool. And I listen to sometimes their podcasts, and I think it's really funny, and I like them a lot. So I thought that was cool. Saw that this week.
Yeah. Do you think he's deserving of that nomination?
You know, it's a hard question. I think he is. I think all jokes aside, he is a great person. I still need to watch the documentary. I haven't watched that yet. But I love his family. I love him. Again, Eagles fan, gonna root for
Yeah.
him, obviously.
I would say for me, since I'm a Patriots fan, I had to watch that atrocious Giants Patriots game yesterday,
Oh yeah,
and
I heard about that. Well, I have my roommate's from New York, so she's a big Giants fan. So
yeah, of course they missed the kick at the end, but know what? Maybe
yeah.
we'll get a good draft pick out of it. But
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting to see the quarterback for the Giants, Tommy DeVito, still lives with his parents. Like his
Oh
mom still
yeah.
does his laundry and makes food for him, and I just thought that was a cool story. And I know everyone might rip him on it for it, but I think it's pretty awesome if you could still do that at that age. I hope I
No,
can
totally. It was funny.
still do it.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I saw a bunch of like TikToks about kind of his family and how like
Oh, they're very Italian.
they're very Italian. They looked like so much fun. Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Now, last non-lacrosse question: what is one place you would want to travel to that you've never been to?
Um, it's a great question. I think for me, probably Paris, always wanted to go there. I think it'd be great. It was nice. We actually got to go to Amsterdam for a lacrosse trip this past summer, and it kind of made me realize how much I love traveling. I've traveled before, but it's definitely slowed down just with, being in college and then sports. It was hard in high school. So going to Amsterdam has definitely made me realize kind of how much I do love traveling. So I'd say Paris, France. Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably like a weird answer, but probably like Los Angeles. I'd love to like see the West Coast and do that stuff. So I feel like something in
Yeah.
California.
I mean, I love California. Obviously we get out to Los Angeles, which is super nice. And I think it's definitely something that everyone needs to see for sure. And it's so fun. I mean, I love California. So yeah, I don't blame you for saying that.
Well, let's get back to some lacrosse questions now. And I only got one more for you. It's what should
Okay.
be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
I think first adding lacrosse to the Olympics has definitely helped. And I think just making it more known to other areas. Like, talking to some people um that live in different states. Some of their high schools didn't even have lacrosse. And I think that's so crazy to me that, a couple miles down there you have lacrosse and some other high schools won't. And I think just making it a known sport and spreading it kind of all over the world will definitely help. I think, everyone kind of falls in love with it once they know about it. So I think kind of making it more available to others that might not have lacrosse around their area.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think just making the sport, I guess, more diverse because
Yeah, for
obviously,
sure.
certain areas it's harder to get the equipment and find the field time. So
Yeah.
honestly, making it more diverse and making sure that everyone who wants to play can play helps
Yeah,
the sport grow as well, especially from the women's side as well.
for sure.
Well, do you have any shout outs you want to give Mackenzie before we let you go? And who should we have on the podcast next?
Um, I will shout out my best friend from home, Anna Dawson. She plays at William and Mary. Great person, great lacrosse player. You should definitely have her on next.
Awesome. Well, Mackenzie, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It means a lot to myself.
Of
I
course.
wish you and your team nothing but the best for next season. Hopefully, you guys can win that Pac-12 championship for the
Oh
last
yeah.
time. And I just want to say I think you're a great player, but an even better person. And it was
Thank
great
you.
getting the chance to talk with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. Love getting to talk about lacrosse.